Hello everybody, this is Danny from Deep South Homestead on Porch Time today. I wanted to take this opportunity to stop and just look back. You know, in a few, I'll say in just a little while, it'll be coming up on a year for Porch Time. It won't be long before Porch Time will be up a year almost, and I was just sitting here thinking back. You know, maybe we ought to call it looking back. I'm not really sure, to be honest with you, I'm not really sure how Porch Time even got started. It's been a journey for this year, and it's been a good journey. And the thing about it is, you know, Porch Time, I do for you all. And you know, looking back, I think about how far we've come, what we've talked about. You know, we talked about homesteading there for a long time, about gardening, about some of the gardening techniques that we use on the homestead, and got a lot of good response out of that on Porch Time. We talked about different tools that was used on the homestead, and you know, a lot of positive responses about the different tools used on the homestead, and told about the history of a lot of the tools that was used on the homestead, and a lot of positive response on that. And they was there for a while that I thought, well, this is really the direction I need to be going in. And we spent quite some time talking about gardening, about different tools that's used, about some of the older tools that was used on the homestead. I even brought out a lot of tools that I have, the antique tools, and showed you how our forefather would use them. We talked about them, talked about the different places that they were manufactured in this country, and what years they were manufactured in this country, and you know, had a good time doing that. Then we went on and we've talked about a lot of different things on Porch Time. I mean, I'm sitting here thinking about not only the tools that we talked about just an array of different subjects. And anything from homesteading to prepping. You know, I guess the most vulnerable part of homestead for me was when I was actually sitting down talking about my story in the beginning, and where I talk about my life and how I got to be where I am. And I guess one of the things that probably helped to bring home Porch Time on was people sent me messages wanting to know more about my life. They wanted to know more about how I become to be who I am, and how did I gain what knowledge that I had, how did I learn the things that I learned. And I think that's probably what sparked most of what goes on in Porch Time. Is I spent many weeks on Porch Time talking about my history as a young person growing up, the different things that happened in my life, the journey that my life took me on, and some of the experiences that I had in my life. You know, that's just some of the things we talked about in looking back on Porch Time. And I didn't mind it. A lot of people are not transparent with their lives. They don't want to be, and it's rightfully so, because being transparent with one's life is not necessarily an easy thing. Because one thing is you have to dig up a lot of the past, and in digging up a lot of the past, there's a lot of memories that come back that are not necessarily pleasant memories. And it was that way for me also. I'm not going to sit here and lie about it. I'm going to tell you that it's always easy for me to talk about the things that I had to talk about. But sometimes it helps others that have walked that same road. If those of us who've walked down different paths in life would share our experiences. Now, we don't have to get gruesome and, all these gory details about different things, but we can share our experiences in life with one another, and we can learn from people's experiences. In the Bible, that's why the Lord gave us the nation of Israel in all the Old Testament there, and their journey that they went through as a country, how they would rise to power, they would fall, they would rise, they would fall. The Lord gave us those experiences with Israel so that we would learn what not to do. And here on Porch Time, as I shared my journey in this life, there was the same way. There was some things that I did, there was some things that I've had happen in my lives that we talked about, and it kind of hopefully help some people maybe not make the same mistakes that I did, and to help clarify, hey, who is Danny? How did he get to be who he is? And a little bit about my past, and I told about why I do YouTube, and the simple fact that a lot of times, I do YouTube to leave a legacy for my children, so that if they ever want to know how to do something, they can always pull up YouTube if it's available and say, well, my daddy, this is how he did it. Or my grandkids, this is how my grandpa did things. And he was successful at it. So, and plus it tells my story for my children and my family for as long as YouTube makes it available. It's a living legacy for me to do. And we've talked about politics on Porch Time. We've talked about, where we're going as a nation on Porch Time. What are we facing as a country? We talked about that on Porch Time. And, moving forward into a new year, where's Porch Time going? I'm not sure. I basically do Porch Time for my viewers. A lot of what I do on Porch Time stems off of the comments that I get from y'all, because y'all's comments pretty much steer me in different directions, because I read all the comments, and I may not answer all of them just simply because of time, but because now at Deep South Homestead here, we are, it's funny, we're becoming actually more busy than we ever have. It's amazing how that, we started YouTube as just a way of sharing our life with other people and showing people how to do different things, and especially with gardening and survival and different things like that. Sharing our thoughts with people, that was our goal in the beginning, and then being able to share the gospel a little bit in with it, and man, has it growed. Y'all have been such an encouragement to us that it's opened up so many new avenues for us, and it's grown into much more than what we would have ever anticipated. And Porch Time is the same exact way. Actually, to be perfectly honest with you, Porch Time is probably one of my more successful things that I do here on Deep South Homestead. I'm not actually out physically doing a lot of things, but I'm sharing ideas, I'm sharing the way things are done on Porch Time. And it seems to be something that you as the viewers enjoy. We've done some storytelling. And I've always loved telling stories. I was always the one growing up that sat around and told the stories to the family. And And I enjoy that, talking about some of the old stories, that the way people used to do things. It's not to say that it's the best way, but sometimes it's good to hear how our forefathers did things, and sometimes it's good to hear how we as individuals come up in this life and how far we've came from where we are to where we are now. We call it progress, but you know, is it really progress? Looking back, are we more content now than we were then? Are we happier now than we were then? Are we deeper in debt now than we were then? Do we have more time than we did then? Do we help one another like we used to? You know, these are all questions that I ask myself when I look at life now, and I ask myself the question, is life really better than it used to be? In some aspects, yes, it is better than it used to be. We have a little bit more modern conveniences now, you know, better medical systems, there's different things. But in some aspects, no, it's not better than it used to be. You know, so we have to kind of weigh things out, and we have to kind of pick the good out of life and, you know, move on with it. And where we feel like things maybe are not better than they used to be, maybe we need to focus on what's really important in life. And we've talked about that on Porch Time throughout the year and the different chats that we've had with one another. You know, we've talked about just life in general on Porch Time. I've done so many videos now. I think we're over 400 videos here at Deep South Homestead in a year. To be perfectly honest with you, sometimes I forget what I've actually done. There's so many of them, and we have to go back and look and see, have we actually done a video on this, and if we have, can we expound on it a little bit better? You know, we've taken people on. I had a video called The Journey. We took people on a walk through the woods here at Deep South, and just talking about a quieter and a more simple time. We've done that, and we've cooked on the rocket stoves here at Deep South. We've done so many things here at Deep South. We've smoked meat. We've done butchering videos. We've done deer skinning videos. You know, there's so many videos out that we've done. We try to share our knowledge, and that's one of the things that Porch Time was created for, was to share a little bit more in depth some of the knowledge that we have here. And in the coming year, it will be no different. We will try to always pick something that is of an encouragement to you as the viewer to do on Porch Time, and we'll try to do that. Now, there may be some things that we bring back. We may bring back talking about some of the tools. We may bring back talking about some different gardening techniques. We may, you know, at Porch Time, we've talked about prepping. We've talked about the bug out bags, how that we don't do a bug out bag, we do a bug in bag. We've talked about those things, and you know, over the year we've shared our heart and our thoughts with y'all, and the response that we get from y'all has been overwhelming. And I want to thank you for all the good comments that you've sent. And you know, if there's a direction you would really like to see Porch Time go in, you know, in the comments down below, you know, in the section down below here, leave a comment. I mean, that's what I love. I listen to my viewers. I listen to my audience. I listen to you as an individual as I sit here in your living room with you, or your den, or wherever I'm at in the house. Maybe I'm with you in your kitchen or wherever, or maybe I'm on the front porch with you like me. As we talk, believe it or not, I'm listening to you. I try to keep it personal. I want to be able to connect with you, the viewer. I want us to be able to be like a one-on-one relationship in how that we talk. I want to listen to you as well as you listen to me. And that's what I do on Porch Time. As you give your comments back to me, I read those comments, and it helps me to build a direction to take Porch Time in, so that when I'm sitting here on my porch talking to you wherever you're at, whether you're in, like I said, in the den, the living room, the kitchen, or on your porch, or wherever, sitting in your recliner, drinking your cup of coffee, because believe it or not, I know a lot of y'all get up in the morning, you tell me the first thing you do is get your cup of coffee and go turn on Deep South on Tuesday morning to see what's going on Porch Time. What are we talking about today? And thank you for that. Thank you. That means a lot to me. That we can sit down and have this conversation, because basically I want to hear what you have to say also. I don't want this to be a one-sided conversation. I want it to be a conversation, because if it's one-sided, it's not actually a conversation. It's just a speech, and I don't want it to be a speech. I want it to be a conversation. I want to have interaction between you and me. So if you will, please let me know. Please respond with me. Please communicate with me and let me know what are some of the interests that you have. What are some things that you would really like for me and you to talk about? Because I'll be more than happy to talk to you about those things. And now, will I get to everybody's? I'm not sure, because with the amount of subscribers we've got, there may be no possible way. There's not that many Porch Times in a year. There's only 52 Porch Times in a year, so I know there's more than 52 of y'all who send me messages. So I'll go through the messages and I'll pick out different topics, and I'll try to get to you. If it's at all possible, I will do my best to get to you, and I will talk to you about some of the things that you want me to talk to you about. Because I learn from this as much as y'all do, because a lot of y'all give me feedback, and I sit here and go, wow, that's amazing. I didn't even think about those things, and it opens up our hearts and our minds between one another as homesteaders and just as friends, because that's one of the things that Wanda and I here at Deep South have learned from our experience with YouTube, is how our friendship base has grown with the different people that it's grown with. There's so, you sit here and you think about how many bad people there are in the world, because when you turn on the news, which is something I don't do anymore, well, when you turn on the news and all you see is just bad, bad, bad. The gatekeepers, as we talked about in one of our Porch Times, as a matter of fact, the gatekeepers only tell you what they want you to know. And it's never good. You never hear about the good that anybody done. But here at Deep South Homestead, we've got good people that subscribe to us. And, that's something that Wanda and I learned real quick, right off the bat. Because when we first started doing YouTube, it's kind of funny, we mentioned, we're not ever going to talk about religion, and we're not going to talk about politics, because when I was in business, there was two things I was taught from a multimillionaire is you don't talk about religion and you don't talk about politics. But coming on YouTube and meeting y'all, the different ones of you that we've met, I found out that there's just a lot of good people still out there. And my friend, you and I, a lot of us have a lot in common. And to come across the fan base, I'm going to use that word, the fan base that we have, I've learned just how many real good people we still have left in this country. Because you see, I have a lot of different YouTube channels that actually contact me, a lot of bigger YouTube channels. And they tell me, man, I just wish I had your subscribers. You've got the most loyal people, the good people. And my friend, that's one of the best comments I like getting from other YouTube people. They like, how can we pull in some of your subscribers to our channels? And I can't make that happen. I can't tell them to tell you to come to their channel. Because I'm going to be honest with you, I feel blessed to have you as a subscriber to us, or to have you watching us. I feel blessed to have that, because I feel like that if you're here watching us, God has led you here, and maybe we have something in common that you don't have with other YouTube channels. I don't know. I'm thankful that that we have y'all, and that we can have this time to sit down and actually talk together one-on-one between the two of us. A lot of other YouTube channels have told me, the bigger YouTube channels, have told me, Danny, we don't have that on our YouTube channel. We don't have that kind of response. I've had different ones tell me, man, when you go live on y'all Saturday Night Live, y'all have more people that are interacting with you than we have, and we have 3 times or 4 times or 5 times the subscribers that you have. And I don't know how to answer that. I don't really know what the answer to that is. All I know is I'm thankful that y'all care enough that you want to share your time with us, because we take time out of our day to make videos and to sit down here and do this talk with you, because we love y'all as a fan base. We do. And what we do a lot of times in our life now is based on you, and that brings joy to our heart if we can if we can do something that makes y'all happy also. Because like I said, I don't want this to be a one-sided thing. I want Porch Time to be something that is shared between the two of us. And I feel like that if we continue on the path that we're on, that we'll accomplish that goal. Because more and more people every day are coming on board, and the community just keeps getting larger and larger. Will I always be where I'm at with the group that I'm at? Will I always be doing what I'm doing on YouTube? I can't answer that, because as we grow, I learned this running a business. As you grow, things change. And if you're going to move forward, some things have to change. The one thing I hope that never changes is our Porch Time. I want to be able to always keep Porch Time up. I want to always be able to keep this personal time where I sit down with you one-on-one and talk to you. I want to always keep that part of our YouTube, part of our journey. Because I really feel like that if you ever get away from this part of the journey, that you start digressing. You start going backwards. Because it's got to be kept personal. It's got to be kept between us and you, and me and you, and that's just got to happen to create a community. You've got to have that personal interaction with one another, and that's what Porch Time is for us. I just wanted to share that with y'all today. I wanted to tell you a little bit about why we do Porch Time. A little bit about our journey here on Porch Time. We do have some plans for the future for Porch Time. Will we do them? I'm not 100% sure, because it'll be based strictly on what you want as a subscriber to us and as a viewer. Because whatever comments you leave down below, between those and the Lord above, that's the direction I usually go in. And thank y'all for watching on Porch Time, because God has really brought you into this, and I feel like He has. You may not feel like He has. You may not even be a Christian. You may not even be a godly person, but I'm going to tell you that I thank you for coming, because you mean a lot to me, whether you're a born-again believer or not, because you're still a human being. I don't care what color, I don't care what creed, what race, or whatever you are. That doesn't matter to me. I don't see color. I just see people. And that's one of the things in my life I've learned that has made my life more enjoyable, when I learned to just see people. I learned to see needs. I learned to see people who need help. I learned to see people who I can work with and who will work with me, rather than seeing poverty, rather than seeing wealth, rather than seeing color, race, whatever, nationality. When you learn to put those things behind you, it's only at that point in your life that you can learn to move forward and enjoy the life that you've been given here. So today on Porch Time, that's kind of a little bit about what I wanted to do. I just want to sit down and just talk with y'all just personally, one-on-one, have this intimate conversation. Wanted to find out from you as the person that I'm sitting here talking to, what are your thoughts about Porch Time? What are some directions or some thought trains that you would like for us to talk about? Because I'll be more than happy to try to work those in and talk about them, because I feel like I owe you that as my viewer and as my friend who sits here and listens to me and talks with me. Thank you. I appreciate you taking your time out in your morning, your evening, your lunchtime, or whatever it is that you actually sit and listen. Thank you for taking that time out to actually sit here and carry on this conversation with me. And we're gonna end it there today, and because I don't want to burn up too much of your data and your time. I am conscious of that, so, and I don't want to just rattle. Okay. So we're going to end it there, and I want to tell you how much I love and appreciate you, and I do hope and pray y'all have a good holiday season, and you can spend some time with your family as you've spent time with me. Thank you from Deep South Homestead.